to the art workshop for the Texas Game Jam. We are going to be going over game art pipeline. We're going to look through how game art is made, how it gets into the engine, what kind of roles you guys are going to expect, along with just how to make art within a very short time period. All right. So, if you guys are not like returnees, my workshop's here to iterate. This is going to be an intro-friendly course. I'm going to be going over software tutorials, one-on-one help. For like all my advanced artists who like already like have commissions lined up, this is a workshop that I don't think you will be benefiting the most out of. But if you guys are the intermediate to the beginner, I have very introductory courses for you guys to consume, take over. And my goal here is to teach somebody who has never done art before to be able to pick up and do art. So let's start with what kind of art jobs are out there. So just to preface, I kind of categorize, that's the right word. I categorize these into like my own ways. There's always going to be like the storyboard artists. There's always going to be the character artists. I'm going to put them all in an umbrella term. You can like assume concept art. Like there's a character concept artist. There's a character environment artist. But mainly I'm just going to state this with this is an umbrella term. You can pick and choose your options. So for the roles, we have the concept artists. The concept artist ones are going to be the ones that are character designing environments, props, and the UX. We're going to be mainly the people that think of the idea. We don't technically draw things and put them into the engine. We're the creator of ideas, so that means your creativity is the most important thing. As a character environmental artist, you're going to be drawing like quick concepts. Nothing that you make is probably going to go in game. And you also will recognize that concept art is a lot of iteration. It's going back to the drawing board, going so much into research for character artists, concept artists, environment in general. And then you have the game artists. I like to say that these are the illustrators and the modelers, the people who are actually making the assets for the game. You'll be seeing these more often. You got like the pretty pictures and whatnot. Game artist needs a lot of technical skill. When I say technical, I'm not like computer work, but like more or less artistic prowess. You need to understand your fundamentals of art along with your mark making and whatnot. You need a very strong grasp of just art itself to be a game artist. As a concept artist, you do not need to know how to render beautifully. Game artists, you do. Which goes under the fact we got 2D illustration, 3D modeling, 3D texturing, and UI design. Also iterate that UI and UX is kind of I'll say that those two jobs can be under like one person will take them, in the sense of like a studio is small and they don't have enough to hire like both of them. And to separate them specifically, UX is going to be the person that's like, I want the map to be here. I want the buttons to be here. I want interactables to be there. And then they're going to tell that to the UI artist, and the UI is going to be like, okay, I'm going to draw this pretty little map right here. I'm going to draw these silly little buttons, and I'm going to make the user experience pretty. That's what the UI and UX, the difference is, and that's why I categorized UX under concept and UI into game art. So we now have animation. We got 2D animators, 3D animators, and we have VFX and rigging. I would say animation is more or less pretty self-explanatory. You're the person that makes the characters move. For 2D animation, or like specifically rigging, is going to be more of a 3D animation thing. That is the process of making like these bones inside a 3D model, and then with that, you'll be able to like puppeteer your model. But I also like put an asterisk for rigging, because rigging is actually more common to be a technical artist role. And technical artists is like the hardest thing I try to describe to people. It is like, people call it as like the bridge between art and technology. That sounds convoluted. It's so hard to explain what they do, but more or less, I would say technical artists, like I've listed a few job roles that they are there, they don't technically actually code the game. They code assets, they code tools to help the artists. And they're also the person that the artist like, here, have my model. They will be the ones that put it in, and they'll be like, okay, you have way too many polygons in this thing. Can you like dumb it down? Like our engine is like on fire. Type of thing. So they'll manage the pipeline. They'll be the ones that like bring the assets in and out. They'll also be there for optimization. Hey, your models are not optimized. I need them fixed. Or they'll be like, I'll try to dumb it down myself in the program. It'll also like bring out artistic tools. Like I feel like the best example I have is like PBE, procedural generation. Though that is a technical artist role, the ones that like code like I want a randomly generated land like map of land and whatnot. That's their job. And then shaders and lighting is also like technically shaders and lighting can be its own role if the studio is big enough to like afford a specific shader slash lighting expert. But shading and lighting is mainly going to be in engine. Technical artists make sparkly things in the engine and make sure all the assets for the artists get implemented well. So, specifically, the game art pipeline, to define it, is just, I would just say the process of which character like creation gets shipped into a game. And this is going to be the normal timeline for a lot of studios mainly. You have pre-production, production, and then post-production. During pre-production, for the briefing part, the writers are going to come up to you and be like, hey, we got a story. I have a whole idea of a world I want to build, and therefore I want you to do something with it. All of the artists will come around, and mainly the art director is going to be there to understand what the writers want. And out of that briefing, you're usually going to make key art or like do some high level layouts, which I put in the pre-production concept area. But it's basically like, okay, number one, key art. If you imagine key art, usually it's gonna be movie posters, like the big Inside Out. You got the big like four or five how many emotions they have there. You got like the big poster. It's just like the big poster you see, and it also it basically dictates also like what kind of mood, lighting, setting, what kind of general vibes we are having for the entire game. It's key art is a vibe check. It is probably not going to get shipped. If somebody makes it like, if this thing gets shipped in a sense, it's probably going to have a lot of iteration. It's probably going to go through the pipeline as well for its own specific thing. But key art is just vibes. Now we're getting into concepting. Is like whenever we leave the writing sphere, we're going to actually start building the world. For 3D art, or like for 3D artists, that's going to be more or less like your programmers are going to do white boxing. They're going to be setting up the level within the engine. They're going to see if everything makes sense, if like some places are too big, inaccessible, proportional wise, and then along with the fact that character props and high level layouts is basically white boxing, but like they take the screenshot of the white box and then they give it to the artist and like, here, draw over this because I have put out the proportions for you to draw within. Character props sheets are just like character slash props sheets. This is where your character design is going to come out of. Your character artists are going to pump out like those T-pose, like spinning pieces of paper of your characters and props. That's where it's going to come out in. And then once they get all of these concepts in, they're going to actually send it to the game artists. The game artists are the illustrators, and they're going to be mainly, drawing it. The modelers are going to be modeling out the level. They're going to take the 2D concept that they were given, and then they're going to actually model that out. At this point, we're also like whenever we model, we have to do these high poly, low poly bakes to make sure that our game doesn't use as many resources as possible to render everything. Texturing, illustrating, I should say like big art stuff there. Whenever those are done, we send them all into animation. Animation, you're going to start doing rigs, weights, the weight painting, like basically making sure that there's no weird collision with your characters, along with the fact that like you have running cycles, walking cycles, you have fight sequences, all of that swinging sword thing. That's going to be part of the animation job. Once you get the actual models, you'll actually be able to animate things. And once you get everything done, you're going to pile them all into the game. You tell your technical artist to figure it out. Post-production is where they're going to start crying and being like, why the hell are there 5 million tries? This isn't they're going to be the ones that are fixing your problems. And then once that's done, you'll technically have a game. And also like for us artists, this is all we have to worry about. That stuff, not my problem. I don't need to care about that. Therefore, I'm cutting off my timeline right there. So, if you're still interested in being a game artist, what are the things that you want to buy? So, for hardware's sake, we have drawing tablets, ones with screens and ones without screens. They are kind of pricey, but I will say that the ones without screens, I think the lowest I bought was like $30. So it's like less expensive than you think. The ones with screens though, they can like 100 plus, and I mean like not like a lot. Don't buy it unless you're going like super pro. But I would say like I have fun with that. I also like to mog on people when I play Scribble.io with that drawing tablet. But you can also like if you don't want to buy excess gear for your stuff, and also I say like having like that drawing tablet, it's such a hard thing. Like you're not looking at your board when you draw. You're gonna be looking straight up at a monitor and be like, why is my pen going south? It is such a big like muscle memory kind of thing to get through. So just buy an iPad, buy a tablet. I don't really like this is so hard to learn. Just buy that. They all have like drawing softwares you can use. You can actually see what you're drawing. You can technically use a pen and paper. As much as like I'd be like, you technically could. It'll be more or less like you do have to take a photo. You then have to process it using like some editing software. Make sure that like you take out all the white parts of your drawing and import it then into your actual video game. And I mean, as much if you want a hand drawn style, hell yeah. If not, let's just learn the software. It's easier. And now we have software. This is industry standard. Mainly, Adobe Creative Suite it just has everything you want. And then for 3D modeling and animation, it's all going to be inside Maya. We also have ZBrush as the 3D sculpting. 3D modeling and sculpting is like a weird. It's like kind of separate for like those who don't really know, but like 3D modeling is box modeling, where you take a base shape and then like pull things out of it to make a shape, and then like sculpting is like you take a circle and you start carving things out of it. You also have pixel art, like the Sprite is like the most common one people use, but that one's still paid. But who likes to fuel a monopoly? This is going to be your go-to for everything. You want to find a replacement? It's going to be somewhere in there. This is also like from 2014, so some of it is like outdated. But you know, like who wants to spend $50 on Adobe? I don't enjoy it either. And also, I guess like it doesn't play Blender, but 3D modeling, 3D sculpting, it's all in Blender. Just get Blender. All right. So after software, how do we specifically make art for a game jam? Understand that for game jams, you're not going to make a big, grand work of art. You're not going to make some AAA production. I assume you guys like aren't that crazy, but like this is 48 hours. You do not have time to make 5,000 sprites for your character animation. You don't have enough time to iterate your concept art over and over. Your goal is to make a minimally viable product. We also call it MVP, which I was going to make a joke about Genji stealing your MVP after they inted multiple times in the game, and they stole the playback with a 3K. Yeah, besides that, basically you're going to be releasing a demo version of your game. This base game, you might as well have one level and one boss. You do not need anything extra. All you're doing is building something that like conveys the final product of if you even take this further. Important things, it needs to be conveyed in that way. So this is going to be your timeline mainly for the Texas Game Jam. For Friday, after kickoff, you'll be like, number one, if you're signed up for team matching, you will know your team by Friday. In the evening, head over to kickoff. We have free food, vibe, have a great time. Whenever we release you, we'll actually give you a theme to base your game off of, and then with your team, you're probably gonna start like brainstorming like game ideas. Along with that time, you're gonna probably make your concept art, and you're gonna actually start on an asset list, a list of things you have to make for yourself. Saturday, you're gonna be working like a dog, bro. It is pain. You're gonna have to, number one, you need to start knocking out all your high priority assets, all your characters, all the important animations and whatnot. And then as you go along the day, you're gonna go to mid priority to low priority. Like if you have the time to go to your lower priority, maybe it'd be cool if I had an animated background kind of thing, along with like get a title screen, a UI, make those also really nice. This is all gonna be Saturday. You're gonna be dying on Saturday. But it's not as long as you pace yourself and as long as you have everything organized, it's not gonna be that bad, guys. I promise y'all. On Sunday, do not be making a new boss for your game. Just make your last little details, maybe even get through your low priority stuff. Get through least important things, and hopefully you can beg your programmer to implement your title winning screen that you worked so hard on. I had to do that. But once you're done with that, you also have the opportunity to make an itch page and make the itch page super pretty. It sucks looking at a game and it has like no thumbnail, and like nobody's gonna be enticed by a game that doesn't have a thumbnail. Make a thumbnail. So we're gonna start Friday nights. You're gonna be starting to brainstorm. I have a few websites that are like very useful for you guys. If you guys are like doing an in-person with your team, just use the whiteboards around. Like just go take over the GDC, go take over the PCL. Use those whiteboards to build around your game, like start concepting UI design, character concepts. But if you also want to not like take a photo of it and like maybe you want to edit it later, like Canva, Mural, and Miro are going to be those websites where you can have a bunch of people on one like big mural board, and like you can write stuff on it, be like sticky notes. This is what the game should be like. This is like something concept wise. Make sure everyone's on the same page. You're going to be basically building your game on Friday, but when I say building, you're concepting. You're not actually building it yet. Make sure you get a mood board though, because that's pretty important whenever you are working with multiple artists. Asset lists. Friday night, you should also be able to list out an asset list. You can use Trello or Google Sheets. Basically, it's like, what art assets do I need to knock out today? For the asset list, though, you should be categorizing them into high, mid, and low priority, like I was talking about. For high priority items, they're going to be linked to gameplay. It's going to be character art, character animation, along with things that are breakable, like the box. You got to make sure that you get the animations for that as well, if it's part of the core, if it's part of the core gameplay. Mid priority is more or less like make the wall pretty. Yes, it is. You're in a dungeon. If you have a blank wall, it's not going to evoke that it's in a dungeon. Go get some rocks in there. That is the mid priority things. You have it takes less time in general for like not drawing a character to put in some rocks. And then you have low priority. It's more or less like if you want to animate the background, that's low priority. If you want to help with world building, that's going to be low priority. Mainly like storytelling is very, very important, but right now we are making an MVP. You do not need a 5-page lore document to invoke your gameplay. That is why I say storytelling is last. And especially when you're working with multiple artists, I would say somebody does character art, somebody does animation. It keeps everything consistent, keeps artwork consistent. You don't want somebody with big fat outlines to ship something and then some random part you have this thin outline for your character. It's just, nobody likes inconsistencies. Just make sure you talk to your artist, divide, and if you can actually share a very distinct art style, go ahead. Awesome. I would divide the work though. lightboxing part for mainly the programmers. You're more or less going to be building the level. This part probably going to do Saturday. Don't tire yourself on Friday. I will say, because Friday, for my game jam on Friday, my team, we were kind of released at like 7 to 8 o'clock, and we didn't figure out a game idea until 12 a.m. You're going to talk a lot during that time. You're not going to have anything done, so just do it Saturday. Map the game out. Lightboxing, you'll be able to send these screenshots to your artists, and they'll be like, okay, I'm gonna use this as a reference to project my own art onto it. And so it will also help with the fact that like they need scaling, they need to know how detailed they want to make their work of art so it doesn't like shrink into a tiny little button. It just helps. It's just also like planning in general. Make sure you plan your levels. And in general, save yourself time. Keep your animation short and sweet. Use smear frames and focus on actual keyframes. You do not need 5,000 sprites to convey a swinging sword. Save your time. And also for like specifically the illustrators, don't make everything, just photo bash things. My favorite example, you can technically use beef, turn beef into an overlay and make that into water. That's my favorite thing to tell people. But it's just like I mean like things about that. Like take assets outside and throw them into your game. No one's gonna ask you what kind of tiling you use for your water. No one cares. And also you can just use asset libraries. Yeah, it's kind of like cheating. Not really. I just say because you're not monetizing yourself off of this game. It's a 48-hour game jam. You're not exactly focused completely on like making the best game ever, and you might not have time to be able to replace all the assets. Just use asset libraries, man. Guys, I got put on this website, Pixel Squid. Go to Pixel Squid. If you search up like anything inside Pixel Squid, they will give you 3D models of everything. Like rotatable 3D models. I'm not sure if you can download them, but I use it specifically if I search up the word heel. I have so many heels to choose from. I could rotate it around and use it as a reference to draw a heel. It's great. I love this website. Please use it. And technically, that is the end of more or less my game jam spiel, my game art pipeline spiel. Going down to future events for EGADs, we got Dev Nights. We are making a horror game. Pull up. I love horror games. Anyway, Texas Game Jam Friday. Make sure you guys sign up. You guys need to sign up for the Texas Game Jam using the form, so we can actually give you. I think one game jam we did, we like actually got you guys team voice chats. It's just easier if you guys did sign in, and also we're doing this thing where we have an EGADS Battle Pass now. What? Basically, we can't guarantee everybody gets food at our biggest event. So we basically have a fast pass. Right now it's $8. It's gonna be 10 at the door, but you'll have guaranteed free food for 3 days, guys. $8 for 3 days. If you're a freshman, you get free food. Whatever. But for my broke people, free food for $8. $8. Okay. Anyways, October, we're gonna be doing a new Game Sprout theme. If you guys still don't know what Game Sprout is, we host a theme for like every month, and you guys got like 2 or 3 weeks to build something. You don't really have to build anything crazy. Just like one illustration, one animation, or even one like game mechanic code-wise based on a specific theme that we post out. We do tally up participation points, and we $100 gift card pool, y'all, for people who actually like participate the most. Get into Game Sprouts. And then next time for my art workshop, we're gonna actually have a rendering art workshop. I'm gonna be teaching anatomy, perspective, like color theory and composition. Like I'm actually gonna go in depth with like that stuff. So if you guys want to pull up, if you guys want to like brush on basics or like even just learn how to approach anatomy, I will be hosting this workshop. It is going to be the whole 2 hours. You don't have to stay for the whole 2 hours. It's just going to be mainly The Unity workshop and the art workshops are dispersing. This is the last time we're gonna have a joint Unity and art workshop for the semester at least. All right. Software. I'm gonna be doing. If you guys didn't read the announcements, I did say that I was gonna do a tutorial software on Ibis Paint X. If you guys, I don't know if you guys have downloaded it or not, but if you guys have, it would be awesome. I don't expect, like, if you guys have your own drawing software, I more or less am going to be touring Ibis Paint because I am the most fluent at it. You guys can just sit around here with vibes and also, like, even so, just like see what kind of things you can. I just want to make sure people who like are just doing their first game jam, and even if they want to do solo dev, they at least have something to use and build. So, screen share. Let me open up the screen share now. Of course. Of course. Good one. All right, let's pray this works. All right, if you guys are downloading Ibis Paint, if you guys would like to, it is free on the App Store. It's also on Android on the Google Play Store. It's also on Mac and Windows. It's on all the devices, which is awesome. Which is also why I chose it. It's also free. Free. Yes. Okay. Of course. Where's my mouse? Right. Okay. Yep. Yep, it's working.
Okay.
Okay.
You're just not showing up on stream yet.
Oh, oh shit.
Yeah. Also,
What's up?
on there. Also, you need to figure out
No!
there.
Wait, oh wait, do I need to wait, hold on.
So maybe we could just go to the website like on
Yeah.
the
Okay.
browser.
Yeah. Hold up.
Oh, okay.
Hold up.
Okay, yeah, it's showing on there. I don't know why it is showing on here. That's weird.
Oh.
Okay, it showed up once I clicked. Oh, wait, oh, there we go. Okay.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
then
great.
to show it on there, how do we do that?
Oh.
Let's see. Maybe if we like. Let me see what happens if I do this. Hang on. What's the thing?
Video.
Oh, I don't know why I did video. Okay, hang on. Actually, you could put it if you want.
Okay.
Actually, let's see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. View equals egot. Will this work? Please. No, it's not. Ninja question. VOD. Video.ninja/view equals egots. Nope.
Okay,
It's
we can
having a.
do.
Oh wait,
Oh.
wait. Please. Please. Give me a moment. Okay, this is awkward. Okay.
We can try something else, which is literally just moving this over to the side.
Okay.
Hang on. Let me just make this big. How do I make this big?
I hope it's not stretched, if anything.
Nope, that doesn't work. We are going to uncharted territory here. I think maybe it's just like we can just.
Okay, you know what? That's so
You
that's so awkward. I don't
get
like
this.
this,
We can
but
try this.
oh, this is awful. Wait, okay. Can we just like? All right, how do we like?
That's a big question. That's a good question.
Oh, I don't like. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
Okay, whatever. So y'all are gonna y'all are gonna have a beautiful. We can't lower this thing.
I don't know. Wait, hang on. Actually, I have a better idea.
Can we not just?
Do you have like your?
How the hell do you?
We have two technical difficulties in the works.
Hold on, y'all. This is probably the best. Probably the best angle, if anything.
Hang on. Maybe if we connect it like this, it'll work. If we have, do we have another thing?
Yeah, you're. I don't know if
Yep.
that's the one.
Do you have like a USB one?
I did not bring that.
Okay.
Okay, we're just gonna fuck around with this. Okay, so you're gonna have a great time trying to see this. If you just go on the Google Store, I have an iPad. You guys go on the App Store. Ibis Paint is going to be the first one. It's going to be the first one on the right that I'm doing up here. Ibis Paint does have a free, or it has a paid version of $15. We're not going to spend our money. We have a free version. Use the free version. Download the free version. If you guys want to follow along with me with the art tutorial, that is the one we're going to have. If you're going to download it on your computer, just go to the website itself, and it will have like download links for Mac and Windows. One thing I will say though is that sure, you can technically draw on your computer, but it's such a hassle. You probably don't have a drawing tablet, and you're drawing with a mouse, if anything. And also, the most sucky part of Ibis Paint is that you only get 1 hour on Windows, bro. Just download it on your phone. It's easier, if anything. Anyways, if you actually like find Ibis Paint like super helpful, and like you want to keep on drawing using it, you can buy the full version. You'll have like access to unlimited time on your PC. But just get it on your phone. It's like get it on your phone. Oh, all right. Oh. Yeah, so one downside about like all free drawing softwares, I went through a lot of free drawing softwares to search this up. It's gonna be littered with ads. It's like these ads. I would say Ibis is less in your face. It's not gonna have like big cutscenes or embedded trailers. It's more or less just gonna be there, and so and it's like similar for every other drawing app. Anything that has a free motto, it's just gonna have ads. You just have to pay to get them out, but it's free. We stick to free things out here. Okay, so whenever you download Ibis Paint, you gotta have an online gallery. I never touched this thing. I never touched the online gallery, cause also it's just like, hey, cool people making cool stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna go to my gallery. I also have this cursor here. You can barely see it, but this is my cursor. If you guys want to follow along. This cursor though is built in Ibis Paint. If you find this cursor annoying, I believe it's in settings. Like this setting button. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, okay. We got a setting button up here on the top right. If you go here, I believe there should be a button somewhere in here that like gets rid of it. I didn't exactly check. It's somewhere in here, y'all. I promise y'all it's in there somewhere. I'm gonna keep mine on just for the sake of being able to show you guys where I am at. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that. There's a setting to turn it off. Don't worry, y'all. But once you get into Ibis Paint, you're gonna go to My Gallery. I do everything in here. So just ignore half of it. I just love Ibis Paint a lot. So on the top right, you're gonna have like these top 4 thingies here. You're gonna go to the plus button. The plus button is gonna give you a new canvas. You can technically import a picture. It's gonna take the scale of that picture. If it's a 100 by 100, it's gonna make your canvas 100 by 100, and then slap that photo right into there. You can do that if you're actually doing something else. But for drawing's sake, you're gonna probably go down here into the illustration box. They already have a preset of 16 by 9. Like you can do 4K, 2K. I usually just like click this and just like it just opens a canvas. You can technically also like use these sliders to build your own custom size if you need anything in that sort. But I'm just gonna click the 16 by 9 and I'm gonna keep it at 920 by 1080, and boom, that's your canvas. This is gonna be okay. It's nice that the ad is on top, so we can technically cut it off. So this is gonna be your canvas. Whenever you spawn in, it's gonna give you a tutorial scene. You can go through it or you can skip it. I'm gonna go through my own tutorial, just crash course. And since I do have like 20 minutes in here, you guys don't have to stay for the entire time. Just to preface, this is like the aftermath of if you want to learn a software. I'm only gonna be talking about the software like right now afterwards. So if you guys got other things, you already have your own software, go ahead, skedaddle. I don't want to waste your time. But this is gonna be the drawing software. You're gonna be directly introduced to this. I'm gonna start with the bottom panel. We have the first one on the bottom left. That is gonna be the button that switches your your paintbrush to your eraser. Like currently, if I just drew, that is my that is my that is my line. We also have an undo button. Like we have like these two quad undo and redo buttons. You can press that to undo and redo. There'll also be a notification on there just in case you're lost. But you also, if you just draw something, you can use 2 fingers to press undo. And then you use 3 fingers to press redo. That is the shortcut for fingers. If you open up the next one, other than like these two, you got open up all the paintbrushes you could have. The ones that have locked underneath an ad, you just watch an ad. You get it free for like 4 hours. And also, if you don't close the application, it's going to save. Like you can just keep this application overnight, and it'll still let you use the ads for like. It won't ask you to rewatch an ad. It's only when you exit the canvas is that they're like, okay, your 4 hours is up. Rewatch another one. You can go in here. This area is like the parameters. I don't touch it usually. All you really need to do is focus on the bottom. You got thickness and opacity. You can also play around with that. It's also like that thickness and opacity is going to be also on the bottom here. This is going to be your thickness, and this is going to be your opacity. Go ahead and play around with that. This button here is the color wheel. Down here is going to be the history of the colors that you've used recently. It also syncs between all of your canvases. So if you skip to another one, have fun with the colors you want to bring it into the other one. Yeah, it's right here. You could, and also this color wheel here, you could just flick around. You got saturation, you got lightness, and you got darkness. You can fix one in there, and then you also have the hue slider. You can fixate on that. You can choose a color, do whatever you want. But also, oh right, sometimes it does this pop up, whatever. But I will say the one cool thing is that you can pick up a color. Like this is the active colors you've used. If you switch to another one, this one's your before color, this one's your after color. If you can technically like grab these colors and put them in this area. This is how I save my color palettes. You can also you can just hold it down. You can delete it as well. You can also click on the color palettes that you've made before, and you can just pick them up like that. This button here, it just brings down all of your UI. Very nice. You can also use just like 2 fingers to zoom, y'all. I didn't talk about that earlier, but that's going to be your redo and undo, and then this is going to be your layer selection. Whenever you spawn in, you're going to spawn in with one layer, and this one layer is actually empty. Sure, it looks like you have a white canvas, but in actuality, if you look at these 3 buttons here, this is like the display background. You're on a display white background. If you switch to here, you'll notice that it's actually transparent. You are in a transparent background. You spawn in with a transparent background. Just a preface. In Photoshop, they're going to give you a different, like, they'll actually give you a white background you'll have to delete. You spawn in transparently. I'm going to keep mine at white, but just to let you know. So you can go ahead and draw your silly little things. I'm going to go ahead and start touring the left side. We got the top tool, we got the transform tool. This is where you get to move your things around. You have in here the first translation scale. You can technically repeat. They'll take a snapshot of your entire canvas, and if you zoom out, it's going to pattern it for you. Pretty handy, if anything. So, and you gotta make sure you drag within the bounds of that box, which is nice. Also, it won't save your progress unless you press the check button, because like this check button here, if I press the perspective tool, it's gonna reset itself. So make sure you make your changes here and then press check bars before you get to perspective. You can also do by increments. You can go left, right, up, down, zoom. Interpolation is something I think is pretty important for you to know. Like whenever you translate things, like if you translate it super small, and then you retranslate it super big, it's going to become pixelated, right? We don't like that, which is why the best way to fix it is by selecting the interpolation. Just pick around, figure it out. I go to Lasso's 3 sharp. If you zoom, if you pull it close and then pull it back up, it's gonna be pixelated, but less pixelated in a sense. You're not gonna be able to get rid of this interpolation because you're not in a vector. Vectors save like true bounds. This will not. It will just find the nearest pixel and translate it for you. But you got the transform tool, you got the perspective tool, which, have fun with that. I don't really touch. I only use perspective tool like this. It's probably the only useful one here anyway. You can also go to the mesh tool where you can actually like pull things. I'm gonna reset this by flicking around. You have the divisions where you can like cut it up a little bit more. And in this place, you can technically like use 2-finger drag. You can also like, if you don't want to like accidentally increase the size, you could just use this small little cursor here. Not cursor, but like this little button, transform button. Lets you do that. You can just pull things randomly everywhere. I don't know, pretty cool. You have the magic wand tool. Magic wand tool, if you select an area with a specific color, it will select that color specifically. And admittedly, there's going to be like, whenever you select it, it's going to have this little rim around because that's technically light blue to the computer. So how do you actually fix that? You're going to go to the settings here. You're going to bring up expansion here. It's going to expand your selection by 1.5 pixels. Whenever you transform, it'll actually take those colored pixels away from you. You can also just bring it back. Strength is like I want to pick up a lot of blues. Like my light blues and dark blues I want to pick up. You just push the strength on that. It'll actually like pick up more colors for you. But if you also want it like, I only want to pick this specific blue, just stay at 5%. You also have set, add, and subtract. The like you can, like right now I selected my blue character. We have that thing, but then you can also like select on the outside and it'll also grab the outside for you. It's hard to see, but there's a little like moving line around that shows you where you selected and whatnot. You for the bottom part, you have subtract, where you can like, you saw an add. I clicked on the outside, it took the outside. You can also like select the subtract one, it takes away the outside. I feel like, and I think set is just like, if you want to select only one thing, you're just gonna grab set. If you want to add things, you're gonna grab add and put them all together. And then like using your selection, like I showed earlier, you basically are able to then transform it however you'd like. If you want to unselect them, you press this button, like this dash button. But also the cool thing is that like, if you open this up, the selection later is actually going to show you what specifically you selected. But the one thing I think is very cool is that like, say I want to color this person in, but I don't want to like go in there and be like kind of thing. And also it kind of like, yes, it undid itself because I'm selecting the outside layer. I'm not selecting like the area that's inside. One thing I like to do is I open up a new layer by this button. I use these 3 buttons here on the side to pull it downward to make it my first layer. Then I press this button. This button like does the opposite of the selection I have. So if I click this, I technically, boom. I think this is the best way to, this is the most efficient way to make line art and make art in general. Just select the outside of your character, invert the selection, make a new layer, and just create that. Okay, I'm just gonna get rid of that. You can also, I believe that or last, I forget the lasso, but yeah. So lasso is basically that, but you can just like lasso around, pull things specifically by cutting through. I think it's very self-explanatory. You also have the ability to invert your selection and whatnot. Do whatever the hell you want with that. Eraser, very, very similar to brush. You kind of like, it's also self-explanatory. You have the brush also options right here that you can go through. You also have the technically the only thing you really need to care about is the opacity for the eraser end. Smudge tool. It's a smudge tool. I don't use smudge tool ever so often. If you want to shade, I'd rather you just add a new layer and make a shade yourself. But that is a tool if you want to weaponize it. I personally don't, but it's there. You also have like, you technically have tools here, and also like you have basic, the ones that come into Ibis, and you also have custom. You can make your own custom pens, and like if you make adjustments to this pen in a sense, like I pull random crap around, you can press this plus button and you add a custom brush. If you go to down here, this is the customs all you saved. You can also delete it with this button up here. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete it. But that's also how you save custom brushes, and you can also like press this. That's not the right button. Where is it? Online. You can go online, pick up a bunch of brushes. People post brushes. Why not? Have fun with that. We got blur. I don't use blur often. I'd rather use the filters, but you know, blur is an option for you guys. Same spiel. I would only really use opacity for that. Special's cool. It's just a liquify tool. You have 4 options for liquify. Just pull, bro. Do random stuff with it. This is like the pin type of, you want to transform something, go ham and cheese. You can also have like edit your parameters of strength, of like how strong you want these things to pull. This is not going to take forever to circle around. I'm going to keep it at 100. You also can edit the thickness. You can also make a skinny. You can also make them skinny, give them a nice waist. Or you can expand it a little bit. You know, make them pregnant. Smoothing is more or less like you're trying to thin out lines. I don't use smoothing often. And then you have the revert, which basically pulls you back to where you were. Whenever you leave the special tool, like you can undo everything at the special tool right now, but the moment that you like leave, like you can't erase this anymore. Just to let you know, you can still undo, but you can't erase whenever you leave the special tool area. I don't really touch any of these. I like my normal brush. Bucket, self-explanatory. I will say though that this is a bucket tool. You have the eraser bucket over here. If you want to erase the outside, that's your eraser bucket. That is a Prime membership field. I don't get it. It's whatever. Let me see. How like. I'm gonna do this example. So say I want to fill up this area with maybe a green. I'll just grab a random green. It's gonna be like bleeding everywhere. If in reality, if you press on gap recognition, it's gonna cut off your fill buttons. It's gonna actually let you like it'll triangulate these things, and it won't fill out everything. If you do gap recognition. If you don't do gap recognition, you're gonna fill up everything, all your bounds. Vector, I'm not gonna touch on this because it's like more or less a Prime feature, and I don't really use it often. Text. Click on a text button. Add your text. Oh, I was doing some editing earlier, but it does save like your fonts, and like you have a bunch of fonts. These are all like part of Ibis. Got the size. You can fuck around with size. Text color. You can have external stroke. You can also change the stroke color. That stuff. You can technically have a border. I don't really use that often. Background. I think spacing is something you should probably check out. Be able to like move around your shapes along with that. Order. You don't have any other shapes on here, so that's not going to have anything. That's your text tool. If you want to use frame divider, it's mainly for comic books. You can add a frame like this, and once you click like that, you're still in the frame tool, by the way. Click a button, drag. You just cut up a frame. Cool. Cut up another frame. You're making a bunch of action frames now. That's mainly for comic booking. Unless you want to go for that specific style, don't expect you to do it. Eyedropper tool, the love of my life. It's pretty common, if anything. Eyedropper tool. You want to pick up this color? You click the screen and hold to pick up a color. Got blue. Now I got blue now. But you can also go back to eyebrusher. I got green. Now I got green now. But if you hold the pen down, you can pick up the color directly. Now I got blue. As long as you don't move your pen excessively. Yeah. Now, okay. Now I picked up white, but I'm gonna pick up green now, and now green's in my color sphere. Awesome. Great. Cute work of art. Last thing on here is the canvas. You can technically change your canvas size. You got the 1920 by 1080. If you want to keep the aspect ratio, if you want to take it, if you want to keep the 16 by 9, keep this checked on. If you don't, just yeah, it'll give you a little demo of like how much it's gonna cut off. I'm gonna press X, trim, self-explanatory. Boom, boom, whatever. You got the resize. Like, to be fair, a lot of these are not that important. Just know that you have changed canvas size and trim. I didn't really go through a lot of these. I should probably go through. You got the add layer here, and then but you can also add a special layer. You can duplicate this layer. This is the hide and unhide. You can delete a layer using this trash can. You can add a layer from canvas. So like basically, if I have these two layers here, if I add a layer from canvas, it'll take both data and then duplicate that on top. And if you just duplicate this, it'll just duplicate that. You know. I don't want adding folders. You could just add a folder here and then take the right hand side, pull them inward, and now you have a folder. You really can't delete folders. You just have to delete the contents within the folder, and then now you have a folder that you can delete itself. You can technically add things from the library. I'm not going to touch that because that's going to pull up my library. You can also flip your canvas using these buttons. If you want to check your work, these also are basically the same buttons. They're just on the bottom here. You have the invert color. You can also have a clear. This is a clear button layer. Do that as you will. The transform tool is actually here as well. Let's see. You can we got these. I think select opacity is pretty great. It'll just select everything in there, so you don't have to like magic wand everything in a specific layer. This is gonna be like a lot of. I'm not gonna touch this because I think this is a very specific thing to go down. I'll probably do it in my next workshop, if anything. Last thing I want to cover is filters. We got all history. Going through adjust colors, you can just click on one of these, fuck around. Okay, tone curve is not. You can have fun with that. It's just this is how you're gonna edit things. You can also like you can change colors, monos, grayscale, black and white. Okay, but it's hard. Yeah, okay, I feel like polarize is something that like people know sometimes. That just know. Okay, this is your blur, Gaussian blur. You got zoom blur. Just play around with the parameters. These are all going to be your blurs. Style's fun. Yeah, you can bevel things. You have a stained glass. You can also actually like this is how you make outlines without drawing outlines on your characters. Just give them a stroke outline. I think specifically do stroke outer. Use stroke outer. Glow outer is the same thing. Satin is like a it's you can barely see that there's a color. There's color in there. Don't worry about that. Just fuck around, man. I can't exactly go through everything in here. It's just a lot. These are just filters if you want to change around things. You got glitch, chromatic, noise. Got pixels, pixelate, transform your things. You can also add grids if you want. Like if you want to generate a grid, this is how you're going to generate a grid. You're going to use this function here, the table count. You can either go table count or table size, whichever fits flows with your boat. I basically am trying to wrap this up right now because it's basically time, y'all. I think the last thing I want to do yeah, these are your layers. If you want to stabilize, if you want to have a stabilizer, I think the last one I want to touch on is Bezier curve. Click a button. This is how you draw a curve. You can edit this curve, man. The Bezier curve, you can edit the curves, and these are not confirmed unless you press the check mark. Now it's confirmed. Now if you undo it, you're gonna lose everything. But this is the Bezier curve. Play with it, man. I think like if you want super clean lines, this is gonna be the way you do it. It's gonna be in the drawing tools. It's gonna be this squiggly one. You got also the polyline, but I think that's like the best. The other features. If you want to save anything, you're gonna press the back button. You're gonna save image. You can keep it if you want to keep it transparent. If you don't have a background behind, press transparent. You can just save it PNG, JPEG. Um, that's just gonna go into your library, and then you can just press back to my gallery, and then I get a pop up. Yippee! This is what I get for having free softwares. I like to swipe out. Swipe out. You know, it's great. I'm back here. Anyway, that is the end of my software tutorial. I just wanted to equip you guys with at least something, with a quick tutorial on how to like operate it. Other than that, I don't have anything else here. It's nighttime, y'all. Time to go to bed. Well, I appreciate you guys for staying around. I know like half of y'all didn't pay attention, but at the same time, I don't care. It's fine. All right, that's it.